Welcome again to a wonderful edition of Ignite with Sandy on the Celestia platform. So, what is Ignite with Sandy? Well, that's a program that I do where I interview women from all over the world, from all walks of life, interesting, inspiring stories. And when we listen to them, when we hear them, it fires up the neurons in our mind to say, wow, you know what? If she can do it, so can I. If she faced challenges, so can I. Can I learn something more from this, whether it's our emotional side, our business side, our health side? So there's always wonderful information that I bring to you through these life stories of ladies who've been through their journeys and are living the life that they want, that they enjoy. And so it's a journey that has taken them there. So, does that mean it's all very going very well? No. There could be some challenges, there could be some hiccups, there could be some roadblocks, but how have they overcome all of that and reached the situation and the position where they are today? So, my guest today is a very interesting lady. She's multifaceted. She's got so many facets to her character. And when I met her for the first time, she was pretty quiet, and I did, I think, a lot of the talking, but we struck up a friendship, and I decided that she would be a very inspiring person to have on my show, which is on the Celestia platform. And what is the Celestia platform? It's a work life balance international platform established in the UK. So, as you know, I never ever introduce my guest. I always get my guests to introduce themselves. And so I'm going to bring on my guest now, and she herself. So here we have this charming lady. So could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do now?
Hi, Sandy. My name is Noor Sabah. I am a doctor by profession, and I am also a owner of a cafe and restaurant in Ajman known as Chai Shai Restaurant and Coffee Shop.
Okay, so when you say doctor, what does that exactly mean? Are you like, have you done your PhD, or what kind of doctor are you?
I'm a medical doctor. I'm a GP.
All right. So, can you take us back to the time when you were a teenager? And, at that time, people, parents and counselors and all are telling you this is what you should do. And there's then you who's saying, no, really, I would like to do something else. So, were you in that position where you thought you would have loved to do something else because you had a great liking for that and you knew that you could do it? And there was on the other side people telling you what you should do. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually, when I was in high school and during my school days, I was very much into arts. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to do shows. I wanted to communicate with people. I was like mostly an events person, and I was a very artistic person. I used to do like designing of clothes. So I was that sort of person who always wanted to be, you could say, sort of in the limelight. And I loved interacting with people. So when I graduated, when I did my high school, I told my father that I have spoken to a couple of universities in Pakistan which are related to arts, and I'm going to go for admission there. But my father had like other plans for me. This is how it goes, in Asian families. So my father said, no, okay, this fine, this is something you want to do, but I wish that you chose medical field as your career and for your future. So I tried to convince him, but he ended up convincing me. And I went for the interview for my medical, for my medical school, and I got selected. So, it's like, then my father said, this is 5 years, after 5 years, you can do whatever you want. Then after 5 years, I did my internship. And then he said, okay, fine. After internship, you can do whatever you want. And then I got married. And then, that's how it just went on. So, how it is in Asian families, we Asian kids, we live the dreams of our parents. And it was my parents' dream, my father's dream, to be specific, that I be a doctor. So I wanted to be in arts, I wanted to be on TV, but I landed up being a doctor. No regrets, no regrets. I am really happy. I did my medicine, I mean, with passion, with love, and I got it. In fact, I passed with distinction from my medical college. I was one of the good students, and even in university, I kept my passion for arts and events. I kept it alive.
Okay, so you did have the aptitude, I would say, to be a doctor because obviously you must have been studying science, etc., when you were in school. So
Yeah.
did you really do very well in science?
Actually, Sandy, you know what? I really liked bio. I really liked bio. Chemistry was not my thing. I really liked bio. I liked physics, and I used to run away from maths. I just didn't like accounts and maths and all this. So just to run away from maths, I selected bio because it was something okay, fine. Is I enjoy doing it. So that was one reason my father, I think, I don't, maybe he got an idea. Maybe he thought that, okay, she's selected science. So maybe she's interested in being a doctor. But the real reason was for selecting science was that I just wanted to run away from maths. But I was good at science. I was really good at science, and I was really good in bio. And even in medical school, when I joined medical school, the first few subjects we do in med school is anatomy and all. I was really very good at it.
So considering you wanted to go into the media and the arts and all,
Yeah.
you really had a passion for examining and studying the human body, right?
Yes, very much. I mean, in fact, I was so good at it that sometimes we had this subject called embryology. And sometimes after classes, I would, I understood embryology so well that I used to tutor my colleagues because they could not understand, the development and all. But I understood it so well. So after class, after the lectures, I used to give lectures to my colleagues because they thought that and I really knew embryology very well. So yeah, science was my thing, but from like inside, I was always an events person, always.
Okay, so you subsequently got married, and then you had your family, your children,
Yeah.
and at that time, were you practicing medicine as well as being a mommy and a wife?
Yes, I was. When I got married, just got done with my internship. I finished my training, and then I got married. And after marriage, also I continued, and then I moved to Saudi Arabia. And over there, obviously, I got attached. I couldn't practice for, you could say, 3.5 years. And that time I conceived, and I had my first son. So after he was born, I decided to give a break. I thought, okay, now I need to be there for him at least for the first few years. I can't ignore and go to work because I believe that the first few years are the most crucial years. So I was at home and I was paying attention to my boy. I was just being a complete housewife. But during that time, Sandy, let me tell you, like I mentioned, I was always an arts person. What I did was I started making handmade cards at home. So I was really good in arts and drawing and everything. So I used to do scrapbooking and all. So watching my son at home, I started making cards. And then I just introduced those cards to a couple of shops. And there was one shop in Dubai. It was called the Cottage Chic, I think, yeah. So it was there on JBR before. And then now I think they have a branch in Midwest City Center. So I gave them my cards and they sold my cards. They really liked it. And I used to sell my cards through Cottage Chic. So I used my time over there. Also, I was being, at home. Even I was doing art. I was doing something I wanted to do from my heart. Even though I was not practicing as a doctor, I was being a mom, but I was being my artistic self also, not wasting my time.
Yes, I think that's a very important point that you made is that it doesn't mean if you become a mom that you have to devote all your time to your child and forget about who you are
Yeah,
and
of
what you can
course.
do. But
You should always keep doing something you love. Don't
quite
ever
true, quite
detach
true.
yourself from it.
That's true. So, did you practice medicine after that?
Yes, I did practice for some time, and then what happened was around you could say when before COVID, just before COVID, I was about to join a clinic. In fact, I worked for some aesthetic clinics for some time, and then after that, I was offered a job from a clinic, and COVID was just around the corner, and they were giving like really high paid jobs to frontline doctors. So I was offered one. I passed my exam from the DHCC, and I was offered a job, and they were paying me really well. But unfortunately, that because of COVID, I could not be with my family. And my mom, she is like sort of dependent on me because she's on steroids, and I have to see her every now and then. So I had to choose, like, shall I pursue my career as a doctor, or shall I just be there for my family because I know they need me. So I had to take a decision, and I said, okay, fine, let's just pause this for some time, and then let me just see my family, and once the COVID settles down, we'll see what we can do about this. So that's how I switched, and how I from medical, like I stopped my practice as a doctor at that moment of time.
Okay, so of course, as we all know, COVID had a very tremendous impact on everyone, and
True.
some people looked at it as a setback. Some
True.
people looked at it as, oh my God, my life has stopped. I can't do anything now. But what I've understood in your case, things started developing in a different manner. So, can you share with us what exactly was happening?
Okay. What happened during COVID was I was, like you says, jobless and based I was at home, and I couldn't do much of art or anything at that time. So my brother-in-law, who's also my business partner in my cafe, he came up with an idea that, okay, let's start a small cafe. When the COVID will settle down, we'll start it. Let's start a small cafe where we'll sell tea and paratha, okay, on a steel plate, like typical desi dhaba style. That's how you have it. That's how you have it back in the villages in India and Pakistan. So because there's something over here, not we can't find something like that over here. So I said, okay, fine, we'll make it a little chic, but we'll serve what they serve in the villages. So we're coming up with the ideas, and we really moved forward with it. And he really pushed me. He's like, okay, come on, let's do it, let's do it. But during that time, during COVID, as I was doing this, as I was planning my business, I did like a couple of courses. I'm a double diploma from Harvard and from the University of South Wales. I continued my medicine. I didn't want to be totally out of touch. So I did my online courses from Harvard in immunology and genetics. And I also did my emergency medicine from the University of South Wales. And at the same time, we were planning the interiors, we were ordering the decorations, we were planning how the chairs are going to be, we were planning how the sofas are going to be, what sort of bricks we're going to use. So during, you can say, the period of nearly a year, 8 9 months, this is what we did. We planned our cafe, and we got most of the stuff ready. And as soon as, like, we saw that, okay, COVID is settling down a bit, we started with the paperwork and the construction. So this is how I used my COVID period.
Okay, so you're talking about planning the cafe and doing this and the concept and whatever else. And I think you're sitting in the cafe right now, and I
Yes, I am.
visited the cafe as well. So who was your interior designer? Who decorated it? What all of that?
Sandy, if you see my cafe, like this poster behind me, okay, I have like 3 walls which have these graphic design posters, and they're really cool. They're really cool, and these posters were designed by my sister. Everything in my cafe, you can say, from the brick to perhaps this covering on the table, this sheet I have on the table, the chairs, the 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 pictures you saw, the art, the truck art, everything is hand picked either by me or by my family. We didn't hire like a proper interior designer who came and who did all our interiors, the decoration and everything. Yes, we got the layout made, but the decoration as such of the inside is completely done by family. It's a totally family made restaurant. And I can say very proudly that this the whatever my cafe looks like right now, and people, they really love it because it's so colorful and it has a very homely touch to it, and it's got a very Pakistani ambience. It's very colorful. It's very desi ambience. I wouldn't say Pakistani. It's a very desi ambience, and people love it because what I've used on my walls is what you can see in the villages back home, but I've added a bit of like color to it, and I've made it a little chic. So everything, the interiors, the designing, the posters, the decorations, the items I've used, my crockery, everything single handpicked.
So, what's written behind you on the wall?
It's written actually. This is an it's a part Urdu, part English. It's written no takalluf zone. This is actually in the cafe side. It's one of the posters. It's no takalluf. Takalluf means hesitation. So this says like no hesitation zone. I mean, you can be free here because we have like live music, we have karaoke sessions here, we have like poetry here. So this the cafe side is pretty cool. People love being on the cafe side, and it's a really a no takalluf, no hesitation zone. You're free to be yourself. You're free to enjoy yourself in this part of the restaurant.
Okay, so coming down now to the business part of the restaurant, right? So when it came to the menus, when it came to the pricing, when it came to the number of people you should hire, in the sense so that you can at least break even and then make profits, how did you
Mm.
go about all of that? Because you don't
Uh,
have a business background, correct? You're a
True, true.
doctor
I
and you're
don't.
an artist.
I don't have a business background, and specifically, I don't have an F&B background. I mean, me and Sarosh was into events. Yes, he was doing events, and I was a doctor by profession. But I've always, my father's a businessman, my brothers are businessmen. So I've always seen my family do business. And Alhamdulillah, I can say that I had their back because they were there to guide me. Whatever I needed to know, I used to go to my dad. I'll tell you something about my dad also later on. I used to go to my brothers, my elder brother, my younger brother, who's is handling the cafe bit. My younger brother is handling the cafe side of the restaurant. So I used to go for them for guidance. It took for me and Sarosh, my business partner, who's also my brother-in-law, it took us like, if you can say for one thing, if it should normally take one day, it took us like a week because we were learning. And there were lots of things that we found out later. Oh, we could have just done this, and we could have, this could have been with us for in a day or something. And we paid a lot extra money because half of the things we didn't know that okay, they were done for half the price or less the price. So we learned a lot in this experience. We lost a lot, but I don't think so it was a loss because the experience I gained, alhamdulillah, now I can say I can easily open another cafe here or any other city. So the experience I gained was very, very important. It was very valuable. And for backup, I always had my brothers, my father, and plus my friends who were already in the F&B business. I learned, and Sarosh learned a lot of things online. And basically, we just had help and we managed somehow what staff. And we, yes, in the beginning, because we eventually discovered that we were little amateurs in this, we hired a consultant. And trust me, that really, really helps. I would suggest if anybody would ask me one business tip for starting a new business, I would say please hire a consultant and a PRO, because the PROs and the consultant will guide you and they will take you steps in steps where they're which are shorter routes rather than going the longer route and the expensive routes. They know their job, so hire a consultant and hire a PRO. They would really make your job easy. So I did hire a consultant.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing from you is that you are intelligent enough to know where your boundaries are, where your strong points are, where your weak points are, and so you don't waste time and money trying to do everything yourself. I think it's a very valid point that you have shared with us uh, on this. So coming now to where you are today, your cafe is doing well, and when I met you, it was at a conference for women. So,
Yeah.
can you shed a little light about that aspect of what you do?
Um, What I noticed, Sandy, was when I was working as a doctor, it was a 9 to 5 job, and I just met the patients or their relatives. And okay, I was enjoying my work, because basically, when you're helping out people and when people come to you and they say, Alhamdulillah, I'm feeling better, it does really make you feel good. But um, on the inside, as I am a woman, and like I always want to do events, and I wanted to communicate with people, and I wanted to do something for the community, basically. So I always had this void, and I always had this thing inside me that I'm not doing something which would show me, as a person. Okay, I'm a good doctor, but what about me? What am I doing for myself, for my satisfaction? Something that I go home and I don't say, oh my God, I'm so tired. But I'd go home and say that, oh, Alhamdulillah, I did this today and it made a difference, and I'm happy, and I want to do it again tomorrow. So I wasn't doing that. But when I started Chai Shai, and the people noticed that, okay, there is a lady, she's from Pakistan, she is a doctor by profession, but she started her own business with absolute zero business background. So they started approaching me from different institutes, the consulates, the associations, and they said, okay, ma'am, can you please do a small talk for our ladies, for the community, and tell them how do you manage a joint family? How do you manage children? How do you manage business? How do you manage being a doctor? And how did you come from being a doctor into business? So I started getting approached by people, and I started doing these motivational talks, and I started doing these pep talks for women. And plus, being a doctor, they also utilized, my medical, knowledge. I used to give talks on women in depression, women abuse, and women empowerment, mostly about women empowerment. So finally, I was doing something that I'd always liked. I've been invited to several TV shows. I've been invited to many associations. I've been invited to schools. I'm giving talks. I'm interacting with people. In fact, through my cafe, I'm even helping out the community. That we have, like, I know a doctor. She's a very good friend of mine, and she keeps these really nice talks in my cafe. Recently, she had one about new couples being parents. I think this is something so important. And I believe no cafe or no restaurant is doing this. And I do it completely free of charge. I mean, I don't charge that lady. Whoever's hiring my restaurant, whoever's taking my place, I don't say, okay, fine, you have to pay me this month, then you can do it. I say, just, okay, come, do it. The customers, they're coming, if they're eating my food and they're benefiting from whatever you're doing, that's good enough for me. So this is something I always wanted to do, and I was doing all in one go. Through this cafe, entering this business opened a lot of doors and lot of opportunities for me. And Alhamdulillah, I was finally doing something that I liked.
Yes. So, what I'm hearing from you is that you went along doing different things in your life, which were totally unconnected, because medicine
Yeah.
one side, business one side, food business on another
Yeah.
side, interior decorating, talking, doing a lot of different things. So, would you say that at this point in your life that you're happy with how things are going?
Um, Sandy, let me tell you, when you are finally doing something that you like, you become greedy, seriously. And I once I started doing all this community work and events and going and meeting people, and being on TV and telling people what I think, and educating people about business, about degrees not defining you. I really liked it, and my heart wants to do more. And I'd say, even though I've got a lot on my plate right now, but Alhamdulillah, I always say women are excellent at multitasking than men. I feel I've become much more, you can say, I'm much better at multitasking. I can handle more things at one time. Plus, I can keep my emotions. I can keep my physical and everything, in control, in balance, along with my family life and my work life. And I want to do more. This is not the end. I want to do a lot. I want to go beyond the cafe now. Now, Alhamdulillah, you can say this cafe has proven a very beneficial platform for me. It has been a very beneficial platform for me. And I'm being really pressured into opening a branch in Dubai. I want to do something different. I would love to open a cafe, but at the same time, I want to do something different, something unique, which would also be very, very prominent in in the eyes of the government. I want to do something that the government would appreciate me for. So yes, it's something in the books. Inshallah, soon you'll be hearing about it. And at the same time, I want to either join an organization or start my own or join the government and do something for the ladies of my community, especially the ladies of my community. So there's no stopping. It's just a start.
Yes, I can tell the level of energy is extremely high. It's coming through
Thank
the
you.
internet to me. So
Thank you.
you know something. You do wear hijab. Have you
Yeah.
always worn hijab?
No, I just started recently. You could say last September I started wearing hijab, and it was just you can say one day. I even remember the date. It was the 25th of September because there was an event, and I didn't wear hijab. I was like quite modern. I had like really short hair, and I really like to show off my hair and everything, and it looked good as well. So I was invited to a lot of places because you know how it is. Sometimes people invite you just because you look pretty and they want a pretty face on the camera. And on 25th of September, I wore a white dress for the first time. And on that day, I got really a lot of compliments. But at the same time, I noticed that, okay, are they complimenting me because I'm something as a woman, or am I just a pretty face for them? And plus all the when you are in when you're into business, especially Asian women, I wouldn't say Asian, I'm women in business, we get targeted a lot. We do get targeted, that's the truth. And we get targeted by men, we get targeted by all sorts of, you can say. So it's something that it really ticked me off sometimes. Being a feminist, I used to get really bugged. So on the 25th of September, after I went to that event and I got all those compliments and everything, I came home. I just looked at myself in the mirror, and my husband was there with me. And I said that, okay, is this all that they want? Or is it I want them to invite me because I am, I seem to them, I appear to them as a woman of substance, a woman who's achieved something, not a woman who would look really pretty sitting in the front seat with all the other VIPs and the big guys with the mustaches and stuff. I don't want to be that woman. I'd rather, trust me, Azani, when I go to events, I go and sit at the back. Okay, I'm not the kind of person who wants publicity just because I've got a good face or something. No. So I said, okay, fine. I'm just going to do my hijab, and it's in my religion, and plus all those the weird stares and the glares I get, that will stop. And trust me, Sandy, I noticed that my respect level in my cafe, amongst my customers, amongst my colleagues, and all those people who used to invite me for events, it really went up after I started taking hijab. And they got to know, okay, fine, this lady is a no nonsense lady. She's here to do business. She's here to make a mark. She's here to do something for the community. So you can say from customer to like staff level, all the way up to the ambassador level. I am saying ambassador of Pakistan. Everybody knew, okay, there is a lady called Dr. Noor Sabah. She's here to do business, and she's a you could say, decent and a very modest lady who does not want nonsense. And I really noticed a peak in this after I started taking hijab. So hijab has been a plus factor for me. It has not been something that put me down or made me any less a woman that I am right now.
That's a wonderful thing and a great observation, because at the end
Yeah,
of the day, you need to be comfortable in who you are, and you
exactly.
need to
Of
be
course.
comfortable and command the kind of
Of course.
respect that is due
Yes.
to you.
Yeah.
So,
And I always wanted to give this image always. In fact, there was a podcast I did, and I've mentioned like a couple of he asked me, okay, what would you like to say to the women who are in business, who are going out or who want to go out? And I told him like 5 pointers. I told him, okay, fine, if you're a woman and you're in business, that and you really want the men out there to know that, okay, fine, just stay away. I'm not here to please you or to entertain you. There are women I know, Sandy, that they really use their femininity, or they're attractive, or they don't do hijab, or they're really modern, or they wear short clothes, and I've seen them. They are invited to so many events, so many of them, and mostly those events are events that I eventually did. I discovered that, okay, those are the events that I really don't want to go to, and those are the people I don't really want to interact with, because they were not of my level. My level is something else. If you want me to laugh with you and joke with you and sit in your car with you, or like, sit in the seat next to you, then I'm sorry, I'm not that kind of woman. And there are women out there who are willing to do all this, but I was not one of them. I had a level and I had to keep it. I had a class, I had to keep it. So what I tell the women out there, it's on my podcast. I just tell them that about eye contact, about your body language, about shaking hands, about telling them, okay, fine, not laughing too much, not. I literally gave out pointers in those, and they've worked for me, and I'm sure they will work for the women out there, because women going in business, they have to face a lot, especially from the men. And I want to be someone to tell them, okay, if you're facing this, this is what you should do. Focus and do these things. Nothing will happen.
Excellent. And that I think is very important because you need to take a stand for yourself. So we're coming
Yeah.
to the end of our podcast, my dear. So before we leave, I would like you to just give 5 pointers to women in general about their attitude and, more important, about their health.
Okay. Uh, Women in general, I'd like to say, first of all, number one, this, in fact, uh, women and men both. I say this to everybody. Don't let degrees define you. Please, if you're a doctor or an engineer or a scientist, or you've taken a degree in anything, but your heart is not in it, and you always want to do something, whatever opportunity comes your way, just grab it. Like for me, where I was, I mean, I entered my 40s, okay, and I was like, okay, what am I doing with my life? And suddenly this opportunity of opening a cafe comes along. I could have just said no and sat with all the money I made at home. I could have done it. But I grabbed the opportunity. I said, okay, it's a risk. Yes, it is a risk. And it's something that I've never done. And it's not my profession as well. But I grabbed the opportunity. And now, Alhamdulillah, I can say it is the best decision I made, because it's making me stand out as the person I am. That's number one. Number two, for the ladies, I'd say that education, yes, education is really very important. If you are a metric, or if you are like just a high school grad or whatever, and you really know, for example, you really know how to cook. So nowadays, social media and the internet, is everything has become so easy and so accessible. Use them, and don't waste your time at home. If you feel that you're a good cook, or you're an artist, or you can make clothes, or whatever you can do, don't don't feel that, okay, no, I've got kids and what will the house members say, and what. No, just do it in your free time. And when they see you succeed, like how my family members, they saw me succeed, and then they started backing me. They will back you when you will start bringing in money into the house. They will do it. But don't just sit idle and waste yourself. Use the social media, use the internet, and make use of yourself and do what you want to do. That's number two. Number three, for the women, alhamdulillah, I'm living in a country, UAE, where women are like kept above everything. I mean, I cannot talk about women empowerment in UAE, no, because women are empowered in UAE, that's for sure. But generally, I would say that there are some things which we face regardless, about, like, suppose if I'm going for an event, and I see that I'm not being invited and the other gents are being invited and I'm being left behind. or I'm not being giving importance just because I'm a lady, or if I've ordered something and that the person who is not responding to me because he thinks, okay, if she's a lady, fine, I can just take my time. You need to speak. Don't be quiet. I say always voice your opinion, voice your complaint. Don't just go home and crib about it, because once you're home, you can't do anything. So you need to voice your opinion. I did this recently. I mean, and I did it at the level of the consulate. I've noticed something, and I messaged the highest person in the consulate, and I said, "This is what I noticed, and I don't think so. You should be doing this. I feel it is something which is demotivating for me and lots of other entrepreneurs and women in business. So whatever you feel, voice it. If you feel that you're being harassed, if you feel that you're uncomfortable, if you feel that you are not being projected the way you're supposed to be projected, voice it. Trust me, people do get scared of this because now everything just goes on social media. So voice it. That's number three. Number four, I'd say that um, when you really mean you're serious and you want to do something in business, keep your body language very clear. Like if you're going somewhere, for me, I take hijab, okay. Even before hijab, I never used to shake hands with men. So your body language from day one should be very clear. Eventually, the message will spread. I don't shake hands. What I do is if I go to an event, I will be the first one to greet. That way, I get a chance to tell them that I don't shake hands. How I'll greet them, I'll just put my hand like this and I'll do this. So they know, okay, fine, she does not want to shake hands. If I'm talking to someone, I don't laugh too much. I just stick to the point. If I ask them something about their family or and that's it, I don't get too personal. I don't give personal details about myself. All these things women do, they give out signals to men which really you don't want to give, but eventually they just catch it. So keep your body language, what you say, how you portray yourself, how you sit in an event, everything displays what you actually mean. Are you there for business or are you there for fun or to entertain them? Okay. And finally, the fifth thing I would just say is that women are excellent multitaskers. Don't forget that you have the energy to bring a life into this world. Okay. The world is today there because you had it in your womb. Okay. So don't be scared of doing things. Like, I cannot be a mom, I cannot be a wife, I cannot be a daughter, I cannot be a mother, I cannot be a sister, and I cannot be a businesswoman at the same time. No, trust me, you can do this and a lot more. Just explore yourself, explore your capabilities, risk. Yes, take the risk, jump, and then if you enjoy it, continue. If you don't, it's an experience, there's no loss. But do grab any opportunity that comes your way and make something of yourself as a woman.
Wonderful pieces of advice, my dear. So
Thank you
practical
so much.
and so usable. It's not
Thank you
something,
so much.
it's something which is not possible. It's possible for all of us. So thank you
Yes.
very much for making the time. I know you're
Thank you,
fasting in
Sandy.
Ramzan, but you've done an amazing job. And
Thank you,
thank you
Sandy.
so much for sharing. And we'll be getting in touch with you soon. I'm sure there's a
Sure.
lot more that we can do together. Take care.
Inshallah. Hopefully. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Thank
darling. Well, there you have it, a lady with super level of energy, intelligent, but more important, has a lot of common sense because you could be a very intelligent person, you could be also very talented, but it takes a load of common sense to know what to do and when. And also, what is very important and what she pointed out is your self confidence. Who are you? Not what other people think of you. Who are you? That is the most important thing. So that's what I've learned, that when you are confident in who you are, then you project who you are, and people will buy into that. So work on your self confidence. If you don't have much, if you are worried about what this will happen, how will this happen, will I fail, will I do this, you know what, unless you try, how will you know? So, on that very happy note, I hope you're going to try. I hope you're going to take that leap of faith, because when you do, the net will appear. Thank you very much for watching. This is Ignite with Sandy. And remember, we're on the Celestia platform. And what is it that you have to do? You have to watch this video. You have to share the link with your friends. You're supposed to like the video. You're supposed to comment. And you're supposed to subscribe. After all, we're bringing you fabulous, interesting information, right? So we would like your cooperation as well. So till next time, thank you very much for watching, and God bless.